Make friends with failure. It's reliable. It's gonna be there no matter what. It's your ride or die, right? Make space for failure. Trust me. So, there's a few parts to this story, right? I'm a big Reebok fan. Not the brands really matter, but it's just that it's the underdog. Been brought up on Reebok. When I saw that they had an office in Cape Town, I was like, ooh, I need to speak to whoever I need to speak to. And my homegirl, Miche, she had a relative that worked at Adidas, which is the parent company for Reebok. So she was like, I'll get you the details. And I was like, oof, it's on. A few weeks later, back and forth, she gets the name and email address. And I'm like, cool. Do some research on him, check his, his socials, try to just get like a sense of who he is, what he's about. But typical brand manager, like they don't have a lot on their own brand, right? Go to the office, big, shiny, intimidating office, walk in, it's just like branding everywhere, marble counter, and a secretary, with her full-on like gaming headset. She's like, yes. Actually, she was like, yes, sir. No, we'll be delivering the shipment to Germany in the next few days. Yes. No, I'm joking. She was very sweet. I said, look, can I please speak to Don't have an appointment, but I do think he wants to hear this. And she's like, and bless her heart, she calls him. And he comes downstairs. And he's a bit like, what's the meaning of all this, right? And I do my best, like I'm on my best behavior. I'm just like, hey, I'm Ben Caesar, and I'm just want 3 minutes of your time. Just want to bounce an idea off you. I think you'll like it. Cool. I done a lot of research on what Reebok was about at the time, and it was like really looking at urban and athletic, and I loved that idea of marrying the two. That was my lifestyle, so I wanted to contribute to that message. Showed him all the work we done up to the time, and explained to him what I had in mind, and he was like, okay. So I really wanted to gauge from him, like, what do you guys need from this point? And he said, look, put a video together of what you have in mind and get back to me. Thanked him so much for his time. I was out. Felt like I was on top of the world, man. Because walking into that office, bruh, woo, buckets, sweating buckets, let me tell you. No, it was cool. Then I called the only man for the job, the best in the game, Dale Fortune. I was like, bruh, gotta do this video. He's like, cool, write up the storyboard, write up the script. Let me know what you have in mind so I can just pitch up and shoot. Bam. And pitch up and shoot, he did. Like, he knocked that out, man. Like, we didn't waste no time. It was just back. And it was good to go. Fast forward a lot of emails, like just mailing him like, hey, when can we meet up? I've got the video done. Nothing. Phone calls, nothing. Just trying for months, right? And then finally, he's like, okay, cool, just send me the video. But I knew like sending in the video would just get buried in the email. I wasn't even in Cape Town at the time, but I was going back for something, I think a gig or something. So I said, can we do it between these dates? He's like, cool. Yes, man. Now we have a meeting. Me and Dale pitch up, and the first thing I do is get Shay's relative a box of chocolates, fancy chocolate, expensive chocolate. And she's just so grateful and so happy that I have a meeting now. And the secretary, I'm like, hey, I have an appointment this time. Pitched up, we showed him. And he liked it. He really liked it, He understood like the whole vision, and he said that it really speaks to the South African narrative, and they were really trying to get that identification as Reebok South Africa. He liked it so much, he was like, what do you want? And at the time, like, I was too bamboozled. I was really just looking for an ambassadorship. And even Diesel like advised me, bruh, get an account, make content for them in this narrative. Now that I know better, I would have gone for that, and I probably would have got that. He was very kind enough to break down ambassadorship and how endorsements work, and they have different tiers. And I just didn't have the numbers, for him to justify it as much as he liked it. And that was like the first lesson from failure, is understanding your position and understanding value when you're having conversations and when you want to collaborate with people. I didn't really know that at the time, The second lesson that I learned from it was taking a leap and falling flat on my face and getting to higher ground from there. Because everything that I learned, in fact, if I got an endorsement deal from that, sitting where I'm now, I wouldn't have learned. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have learned half as much from like the agony of failure. And actually leaving that meeting, I felt even more empowered. I felt like, wow, this guy gave us the time of day without an appointment, without anything except the initiative that we put in. And that speaks volumes, That speaks volumes. You're dealing with a monster brand. And I just walked in the door. And it was one of the most terrifying things for me to do. But it was a moment in my life where it's like you going down a hill and you hit the handbrake and you do a U-turn, bruh. That was a turning point in my life. I learned like, you have to shoot. You gotta pull the trigger and just go and fail. And it gave me such a resilience to failure and even excitement to failure. Like, I'm excited to fail, All my biggest failures, like falling on stage, forgetting my lines on stage at gigs, all of these things I laugh at. They great stories. Success stories are like, okay, cool, yeah, right? But it's not half as good as your failure stories, right? And I think the most important thing is that in this age of information and internet and YouTube and all these tutorials and all these like hacks, and everybody's telling you as an artist, as a creator, here's a shortcut, here's a technique, fast track this. It's a lot. Like, it's a lot going on. But nobody's telling you fail. And in fact, Brandman Sean said, like, in a podcast, like a video interview he did with somebody, he was like, fail. Put that as part of the time that you spend. Factor that in, because whatever endeavor you're doing, gotta fail. And it's okay, it's good. In a few years, you'll laugh about it. Be good. In fact, I want to hear about it. Let me know how y'all feel, If you've had similar experiences like this, if you enjoy looking back at your failures, if you can laugh at your failures. And this is really what the Artist to Artist series is. It's just what I've learned and the things that I don't hear people saying or talking about, which are like pivotal in my life. So thank you to everybody in the story. It's good times.